As my historical tour of Greece continues, we leave the coastal town of Pylos behind us, travelling inland beyond Messenia to a region which needs no introduction, Laconia, home to the modern city of Sparti, or as I'm sure you've guessed, ancient Sparta. That's right, we visited the kingdom of Menelaus, Lycurgus and Leonidas, a land which has influenced the collective imagination of the West for over 2,000 years with its iconic reputation and representation. Many sources, from ancient writers to modern film, will tell you about Spartan warriors, the debate around the so-called Spartan mirage, its helots and its history, but less so about how the Old Kingdom actually looked. What it felt like to walk in the footsteps of a Spartan. I was captivated with every step through Sparti, walking through the streets and up the ancient Acropolis. I can tell you one thing right now, it's nothing like Athens, but I suppose that's very much on brand. For its ancient origins and more about its mythological and political history, I encourage you to watch my video on how Sparta got its name. But for now, get ready to learn more about the city and its buildings, and paint a picture of Sparta that I personally had never seen before actually going there myself. We left Pylos early, giving ourselves just enough time to sample some fresh olives in Kalamata before leaving Messenia altogether. Because of the time it would take to travel through the Taygetos mountain range, we decided to travel north before turning southeast back down a near-empty motorway into the Evrotas Valley. As we crossed into Laconia, the rain started pouring down and followed us into Sparta. Somehow, it seemed fitting to experience some discomfort there. Later, when we were on the Acropolis looking out to the mountain borders, the grey clouds were so thick and low across the valley, it was like Zeus himself had come to greet us with raindrops that evening as powerful as fists slamming into the ground outside the bar, a true Spartan welcome. Sparti is a small city, and though it has its cafes, squares, restaurants like any others, the spirit of old Sparta does still shine through. And I don't just mean 300 merchandise in the odd shop for tourists. A statue of a Spartan soldier stands in the central square with an inscription attributed to Taygetos, the war poet who embodied the spirit of Sparta above all others. Tithimisto palikari, otan protos ti fotia, skototike yetin patrida, metispathas ti dexia. What honour to the boy, when first into the fire, died for the fatherland, with sword in his right hand. Now, it's my duty as a classicist to say these are not Taygetos' exact words, not even in ancient Greek. But this adaptation, which I believe was written by the first Prime Minister of Greece, Spiridon Trikopis, certainly capture the spirit of Taygetos' iconic battle verses. The original lines are Tethnameni gargalon, eni promachisi pesonta, andragathon peri hipatridi marnamenon. It is a noble thing for a good man to fall and die in battle for his country. The line sounds familiar, no? Horace said dulce et decorum est pro patria mori, inspiring in turn the title of Wilfred Owen's famous poem, and it was even apparently adapted to become the anthem of the Santa Hamina military school in Finland. Moving north through the city, we next come upon the tomb of Leonidas, where his remains were brought back from Thermopylae. To some, it might not be much to look at, but it is all that remains of the ancient Spartan agora, and our friend and travelling companion Pausanias claimed it stood opposite the theatre, Lithou Levkou Theos Axion, made of white marble, a worthy sight. And at last we continue north to the edge of the city, where the ancient Acropolis still looms large above the modern buildings. Again, time has taken most of what was once there, but unlike the hordes of tourists you'd find in Athens, it was for us an incredibly pleasant and calming walk. The amphitheatre is best preserved and a reminder to us that Sparta wasn't all spear drills and torturous training, they too had art and oratory. Historically speaking, the most important building on the Acropolis was the sanctuary of Athena Chalkioikos, Athena of the Bronze House. That's right, Athena was revered by the Spartans too. This temple was key to Spartan life, with many key events and decisions made within its walls, featuring ephors, kings, and generals. Said to have been built by Tyndareus, father to Helen and Clytemnestra, it became a treasure trove of findings by later excavators. Statuettes, amphorae, vases and inscriptions open a wonderful window into the life of ancient Sparta. Sadly, naught but a few stones remain. We also have the remains of a Byzantine church marking the continuity of Sparta's cultural importance through the Roman Empire centuries later. And at last, beyond the city, we have the mighty Menelaion. This mythical structure is very certainly real, whether or not it truly covers the interred remains of the great Achaean hero of the Trojan War. The backdrop of the Evrotas Valley and the Taygetos mountains make for some fantastic photo opportunities, although as you can see, the sky was still rather grey for us. Before ending the video here, I wanted to tack on our next stop before entering the Mycenaean realms to the north. This was the breadbasket of the Peloponnese, Arcadia, and we made a quick stop at its once bustling heart and centre, Taygetos. Now an archaeological site in the town of Alia, unsurprisingly littered with as many comments from Pausanias as vase fragments, it is an impressive reminder of Taygetos' longevity. Some might call them unfortunate to be Sparta's neighbour, but from the Homeric Age onwards they resisted Spartan influence magnificently, and even when they were defeated, they maintained their status as a top military power, through Rome, against the Goths, and only eventually losing its name in the Middle Ages. So now stay tuned for the final chapter in this saga, when we at last reach the kingdoms of Mycenae, Argos, and Tiryns, built, some say, by the Cyclops themselves.